back on TYT bonus episode. Everybody, Cenk and Anna with you guys. It's a hell of a day, man. We got lots of shows. We got Old School coming up, and I love that we had Barbara and Lessig on in the conversation today. So
no big deal. We had Barbara and Lessig on.
It's not a big deal.
That's what we do.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, we got a couple more fun stories for you guys, and then I'll tell you the thing about power.
So let's start with Kevin McCarthy. All right, so House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy was asked a question that made him incredibly uncomfortable. So there's a lot of talk about the possibility of Donald Trump serving as Speaker of the House. Here's what McCarthy thinks about it.
Would you be for President Trump becoming Speaker?
You know, I've talked to President Trump many times. He tells me he wants to be Speaker, and I think he should be president. But most importantly, if you're worried about the filibuster, the best way to stop it is win the House. You won't have to worry about the filibuster again because those bills won't get over there. And if you work time and again, what are the Democrats doing with this majority? They not only want to change the election law, they want to make Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. states. Why? They're doing everything they can to change the structure and constitutionality of our state, of our country, so they can maintain control illegally. That's something we never want to see happen.
Now, if you're wondering if Kevin McCarthy was uncomfortable with that question because it really threatens his own position of power within the House of Representatives, look at this little snippet.
All right, Leader McCarthy could be Speaker McCarthy, it might be Speaker Trump. We'll have to find out. Nice to see you, Kevin. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. No,
See, this is a real laugh. His was a fake laugh.
No, but what I loved about the first clip, Cenk, is how he immediately wanted to deflect to like an issue that has like nothing to do with the question that was asked. Like, oh, they're trying to make Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico states. Let's talk about anything other than this.
No, I love this for so many reasons. First, now I'm obsessed with Kevin McCarthy clips because now that we figured out he's Mickey Doyle from Boardwalk Empire, right? I can't get the guy out of my head.
Well, I'll tell you something else, okay? I don't mind. I don't want to be Speaker of the House. I'll do anything for him.
Oh, you brought that up again, Brian.
So good.
So if they get the House, the minority leader becomes Speaker of the House 9 out of 10 times, 95 out of 100 times, right? It's possible he could lose an election within his own Republican caucus, but it is very unlikely. He is set to be Speaker of the House if the Republicans win the House. And he did it by kissing Donald Trump's ass 24/7. And remember, he's the one that called Trump during the January 6th riot and said, they're coming to kill us, you gotta do something. And Trump said, oh, I guess they cared more about this election than you did, Kevin. And then McCarthy, after being slapped across the face when he thought his life was in danger, he was like, yes, sir, you're right away, sir. Go ahead and kill me if you need to, sir. And afterwards, he went to Mar-a-Lago and got on his hands and knees to start licking Donald Trump's shoes, okay? So that's who Kevin McCarthy is. But he did it all in service of stature and power, right?
Exactly, yes.
All so that he could one day be Speaker of the House. Now, look, the reality is, in my way of seeing things, who cares? It's just a stupid title. We all die. It doesn't matter at all. But to people in DC, oh, it's the most important. I'm going to go down in history. I will be a Speaker of the House.
I'm going to push back a little bit because there is power that comes along with that, right? Don't you get to decide?
No, not for Kevin McCarthy, and I'll tell you why. So you're 100% right overall, and sorry I cut you off there. The Speaker gets to decide what bills, what order. Anna's absolutely right about the technical details. But in the case of the Republicans, he's just gonna be Trump's dog either way. He's not gonna get to decide anything. Every time he's gonna have to call Trump, hey boss.
Hey boss, what do you want me to do, huh? How do you want me to handle this?
Right? So he's just an errand boy. But to be honest, like for the last 40 years, the Speaker of the House has always just been an errand person for the donors. So what difference does it make? It's not like Nancy Pelosi or Dennis Hastert or any of those folks who made their own decisions or Newt Gingrich. No, they'd call, like good servants, they would call the donors and say, what do you need? And then do whatever they needed. In the old days, the speakers actually had power because they had independent decision-making capability and you would use their own judgment. But the politicians have worked for donors ever since. Especially, you're not gonna get to be speaker unless you raised a ton of money. So by definition, the most corrupt get the speakership. And so, but Kevin went through all of that, right? He did all the ass kissing of the donors, then he did all the ass kissing of Trump. And he gets to a point where he's finally about to make it, and then they say, just kidding, and we might just give it to Trump.
Okay, so let's, oh God, I love it so much, it's so good. Okay, so let's just discuss real quick. I'm sure some of you are wondering like, wait, what? I mean, wouldn't Trump need to be a member of the House of Representatives for him to be Speaker of the House? But no, apparently there's nothing in the Constitution indicating that a sitting member of Congress would need to be the Speaker. And so, look, obviously this is all under the assumption that Trump doesn't win if he runs for election in 2024 and somehow weasels his way into being Speaker of the House. And that's, of course, assuming that Republicans take control of the House of Representatives, which, by the way, is pretty likely in the midterm elections if Democrats don't get their stuff in order.
Yeah.
Their stuff together.
Yeah. So, yeah, the speaker could be anybody. So when Trump found that out, probably he was like, I'm back. Because think about it, guys, that way he doesn't have to win any election. And if the Republicans win in 2022, we're out. It's a funny thing, and it's wonderful to see other Republicans humiliated. It is not at all out of the question that Trump would take it. Because if you think about it, could that help him run for president? Sure, even if he doesn't run for president, it's historic. Could that help him in his lawsuits that are coming, in the criminal cases, et cetera? Could he wield power through that? Kevin, it was nice knowing you. It's actually the logical move for Trump. If he doesn't do it, it's actually kind of stupid.
No, now we're going from having fun, we're having shiggles with this story to now I'm actually incredibly irritated because think about it. He doesn't have to get elected to be Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
How disgustingly undemocratic is that? Especially when you consider the technical power that the Speaker of the House has in terms of deciding what types of legislation gets, brought to the floor for a vote and all of that other stuff.
Yeah, I don't agree. Okay, so now in the case of Trump, it's deeply problematic, right? Because
wait, then how do you not agree with me?
No, because I think being able to bring in a Speaker of the House that isn't in the House is kind of a super interesting idea. So now in the case of the Republicans, the person who has all the power is this bad guy, right? And if he ordered them and if he said, make me Speaker, they would make him Speaker. There's no question about it. But there's actually tons of great progressives outside of Congress, and it's hard to get elected without, the Just Democrats proved you could get elected without corruption. But especially before the Just Democrats, I used to love that rule that you could get somebody outside the House to be Speaker of the House.
No, I hate it.
Because it's the only prayer you had of ever getting a progressive in that position, right? And the caucus within the Democratic Party, they're very unlikely to pick someone that is inside the caucus but progressive. But if someone had stature outside, and I don't know who that would be. I don't know, Bernie retired from the Senate. Can you be in the Senate and be the Speaker of the House? I don't know. But so I'm kind of intrigued by that.
Well, the members of the House of Representatives would have to vote on the Speaker, right?
Yes. The elected representatives vote on who the Speaker is, so it's not random.
What makes you think that these terrified progressives would vote in favor of a strong progressive as Speaker of the House?
That's a very true and very, very, very unlikely. The only thing is I had fantasies before the Just Democrats of someone having enough stature, fame, et cetera, that they would say as a compromise, okay, fine, we'll bring that person. Because like everybody's excited about Matthew McConaughey now no one knows his politics.
God, this country is.
Right, and I was hoping that the corporate Democrats would make that kind of mistake with someone who's like, oh, let's bring in Oprah to be Speaker of the House because it's like a clown move that Democrats would do. And it turns out Oprah's super progressive. And I'm like, yes, do you see what I'm saying? I don't know that any of that is true, but those are my fantasies because of how corrupt Congress and the Democratic Party was. So anyways, that's just a tiny little thing. But back to this specific situation. At least if Trump started talking about it, the Democrats could run saying, hey, if you don't vote for us, Trump could be Speaker of the House, right? And because that's the only thing that motivates Democratic voters, apparently, and because Democratic politicians don't deliver anything else for them. So keeping it real on that front. But all of that, yes, we turn the story serious. But the bottom line is, it never helps to do what Donald Trump says. He screws you at the end every time. I think of poor Mike Pence, who I have no love for, and I love that he was humiliated, but he kissed Donald Trump's ass for 5 straight years, did everything he was commanded to do like a dog. And then at the end, they wanted to execute him anyway.
Of course.
And he went to a conference on faith. He's supposed to be the faith guy, the evangelical. All the religious voters are like, boo. They were chanting hang Mike Pence as they went in. There is nothing you could do in debasing yourself that would be enough for Donald Trump. And they never learned the lesson.
No, there's no honor among thieves, period.
Yeah.
So you wanna roll around in dirt, you're gonna get dirty. Sorry. All right.
That was awesome. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.